Getting amethyst in Minecraft absolutely sucks. Most players who have tried to get amethyst in Minecraft have struggled to get lots of this precious resource. And amethyst farms are notoriously slow, and automating getting the resource is actually very tedious, and even then it isn't even the most productive way to do it. Some players might even build dedicated amethyst farms using multiple geodes, and it ends up having them less productive than other methods. So in this video I'm going to show you the proper way to farm amethyst and a few methods on how you can do that. And if this is the first time you're seeing my face, well, hello. Now there are two main ways that people will farm in Minecraft, and that is passive and active farming, or a mixture of both. Right here we have my iron farm, and this is a 100% passive farm. It fully automatically collects all the materials for me without any of my input. Now the reason why it isn't an active farm is because it's just to help boost up supplies when I'm around the area. Now a raid farm like the one I've recently developed is a completely 100% active farm, because it requires the player to actively be there all the time for it to run. Yes, it is fully automatic, but it is not passive because the player has to actively be here to use it. So you might be wondering, what is the best way to farm a geode? It's a mixture of passive and active farming. One of the main reasons why amethysts are so annoying to farm is because they do not drop anything for the first 3 stages of growth. But on the 4th stage, that is when you get your shards, and the best way to mine it is with a fortune pickaxe. Now as you can see, we got from that 8 amethyst shards, but there is a clear difference from when you're using a piston. You see, when farming with a piston, you'll only ever get a maximum of only drop 2 shards. Pickaxes will drop up to 16 with fortune 3. Yeah, pistons are very inefficient. Now if you're lazy like me and don't want to manually harvest amethyst, and you don't mind losing some of your production method, then you can build something like this, and then all you have to do to finish it up is add 2 amethyst shards into here. You're then going to add onto the back of here, stick a blocking onto there, stick a 2 redstone there, you're going to stick a torch on the side, you're going to get your dropper and stick 1, 2, 3 items in it, single hopper, come underneath, comparator, torch, a block, and then get yourself a redstone comparator that way and a redstone comparator that way. With that, you've completed your automation of your amethyst geode. It is going to be up to you though to do the piston grid for the amethyst geode, and once you're done, you need a water retrieval system at the bottom. Now you're going to want to build this with a lot of chains, because chains will break your amethyst, but also on the retraction have any amethysts that is stuck on the chain come off. So my advice to you is to don't worry about perfection if you are going to go this route. Now this next setup is really easy. What you're going to do is get rid of the entire amethyst geode except for the buds, and also flood the entire room. What you're going to do then is then have an observer observing one of the sides before it started growing, and you're going to stick 4 items inside. That way, when it grows 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, you will know that the entire amethyst geode is at least close enough to being ready to harvest. What you'll do is you'll have that be dispensed out to the top, and then you'll have it go into a single hopper with 16 plus the 3 items already in it. That way, when we have 1, 2, 3, 4 shards in here, it will light up this lamp, and you will know it was time to harvest the amethyst geode. So as you can see, we have 3. If we get 1 more, you can see that the light will light up, and we can go down and harvest the amethyst geode. And you can see that that is fully growing. Another thing about this setup though is that you don't have to have it flooded. You can also build something like this. We have floors where you can actually get to the amethyst. Now when you're mining this, you're going to want to make sure that you don't have efficiency on your pickaxe, so that you don't risk the possibility of breaking the amethyst bud. So what's the best option for you? Well, it depends on what you're doing in the area. So let's take my base for example. I am at my base quite a lot, and I use this place for my storage and also other farming. Now I already have an amethyst geode farm at this base, and it is fully passive because its purpose is not for me to be here in AFK for it. But I have built option 1 because I am just, well, a little bit lazy. And you can see that I've hooked up the redstone pistons to the top of the redstone here and connected it all up. Now, because I've done that, it means I'm actually making a lot less than I could be because I'm not willing to go and mine it manually. But if you are willing to go and do some chores for your Minecraft base, then you will actually make a lot more amethyst faster than I have. That being said though, with how much time I have been at my base, I almost have a shulker box of amethyst. Now let's say you're gonna have to be AFK at a raid farm, for example. If this raid farm is close enough to an amethyst geode, which hopefully there's one underneath here. Yep, it seems there is a few amethyst geodes underneath this raid farm. It'd be really worthwhile to actually set up fully automatic farms here, because when you're AFK there, you can't actually go down and mine these, so having them running all the time is going to be really good. So the rule of thumb is, if you're going to be AFK in an area, then you want automatically running amethyst farms. But if you're actively in the area and you're playing and you don't mind doing a little bit of chores when you need to, then manually mining it when it tells you that it is ready to mine is the most productive method. Now, what if you want to make a fully AFK amethyst farm? I really wouldn't recommend it because you're actually going to lose a lot of productivity and a lot of amethyst in the long run instead. But if you can and you want to, you can. But just know it is more productive to use a method where you're manually mining and it tells you when it needs to be mined. Now before I go, there is a few more pointers I want to point out for the automatically running farm. When you are connecting up your piston grid, you want to make sure you have a repeater going after your connection point so that when you activate the pistons, they activate with a full strength. Another thing too is you're going to want to add delay between all your pistons so that they're not all activating at once, or else you're going to get massive lag spikes. So you want to add delay with repeaters every so often. Another thing too is I really want you to make a backup before you even start, because if you accidentally break a bud with a piston, you cannot get that back unless you've made a backup of your world beforehand. And I've said this many times, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Take a look at my contraption, for example. You can see that even though I've set it up pretty good, there is still cases where I get amethyst stuck on places, and that means I do lose rates. So even I, someone who do a lot of redstone, cannot do perfect amethyst farming because the way this amethyst works is so broken. If Mojang allowed us to be able to push these amethyst buds around so that we can work better, or even a feature where if you had them underwater they grew faster, it would make amethysts a lot more fun to work with. But in their current state, I really don't like amethyst farming and found this video very hard to make. Anyway, that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!